We are live now.
At the onset, my sincere thanks to RK sir and Krishnadas sir for inviting me to this webinar talk on visual fields. I will be talking on.
Sir, one short introduction by Dr. Devendra.
Okay.
Yeah. So first of all, welcome you all on behalf of Arvind Eye Hospital. So this is an interesting webinar. Dr. Reddy sir doesn't need any introduction. He is a well-known glaucoma specialist, and he is the director and founder of GRI Institute. And he has vast experience in teaching. I think since my post-graduation, I'm listening his lecture in various state and national conferences. And he published the book, The Practical Guide to the Interpret Visual Field. I think we can say this is an excellent book on visual field I encountered all over the foreign or national author. I think one of the best book on the visual field by Dr. G.R. Reddy. And Dr. Reddy sir is also associated with Carl Zeiss and developed the various strategies for the visual field and the various modules that Carl Zeiss have incorporated in their upcoming softwares. So that's few short introduction for sir. I think there's a long list of sir's accreditation. It's difficult to tell. So over to you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Devendra, for nice words. And today I will be talking on the basics of the static white-on-white perimetry, which includes point patterns, the testing strategies, understanding of single field analysis printout, identification of artifacts and non-glaucomatous field effects. Tomorrow I will be telling about the interpretation. As you know, in the static perimetry, the size of the stimulus and the background illumination remain constant, and the brightness of the stimulus is altered to find the retinal sensitivity. By definition, the retinal sensitivity, the threshold, means if a particular point, if the light is shown 100 times, and if it is appreciated 50% of the times, that intensity is labeled as the threshold. It need not be seen 100 times. If it is shown on 50% of the times, that intensity is labeled as threshold. And you observe the threshold is measured in terms of dB units. So you should know what is meant by dB unit. Normally, the light intensity is expressed in ASB units, but they are converted into dB units to express the retinal sensitivity. So dB means 0 dB means there is no attenuation, zero attenuation. It is the maximum light intensity projected by any perimeter is labeled as 0 dB. As the dB value increases, the light intensity is decreasing in logarithms. 10 dB means 10 to the power of 10 times of the maximum. 20 dB means 10 to the power of 2 times of the maximum. 40 dB means 10 to the power of 4 times of the maximum, that is equivalent to 1 ASB units. If the dimmer light is getting enough to get the retinal response, that means the retinal sensitivity is excellent. So as the light dB value is increasing, the light is becoming dim, and the dim light is enough to get the retinal sensitivity. That means the retinal sensitivity is excellent. The higher the dB value, higher the retinal sensitivity. Take for example, the 0 dB means that the point is not getting response to the 10,000 ASB units. That means absolute scotoma. An inferior sign appears in front of it. Suppose 10,000 ASB units are required to get the stimulus, that means a 0 will appear. So if the point is not getting response to the maximum light intensity, that is 0 dB, we call absolute scotoma. So I will be talking about the threshold test to diagnose glaucoma, in the management of glaucoma. Any threshold test will have two components. Where we test is the point pattern, and how we test is the testing strategy. I will be talking about the strategies, is the software, and all the test thresholds are full threshold and fast pack. Because of it is taking longer time, it is replaced by newer strategies, SETA standard and SETA fast. SETA standard will take 50% time of the full threshold, and SETA fast takes 50% of the fast pack. Recently, the Zeiss included SETA faster it takes 30% of the time will be saved when compared to SETA-FAST. But the SETA-FAST strategy is only present for 24-2C to a point pattern. It is not present to 10-2. 10-2 point patterns or 30-2 and 24-2 point patterns. It is only present to 24-2C, the point pattern recently introduced. Coming to the point patterns, this is very, very important. For better understanding, everyone will have a doubt what is 1 by 30-2 and 30-1. 30-1 means the points set present on horizontal and vertical axis, one set of points, which are absent in 30-2. That is the base. And because the points are present on the vertical and horizontal axis, the distance between point to point is 6 degrees. There is a huge 6-degree bare area. That is why the -1 point pattern almost disappeared and the -2 point pattern came into existence. In the point patterns, what we use in glaucoma in the Humphrey field analyzer, we have 30-2, 24-2, 10-2, and macular program. Whenever we talk about the point pattern, the minimum things what we should know is how much area the points they being distributed, how many points are there, what is the distance between point to point, and what is the distance between point and the axis, and what is the bare area. These are the points we should always look for, and the point patterns they differ from mission to mission. Therefore, before buying any mission, have a full control and concept over the point patterns of that particular mission. In Humphrey, 30-2 means is a 30-degree circle with a center being the fovea, and there are 76 points. Because it is -2, no points are horizontal and vertical axis, and the distance between point to point is 6 degrees, and the distance between point and axis is 3 degrees. There is a 3-degree bare area. 76 points are there. Whereas 24-2 is nothing but 30-2, subset of 30-2, where the outermost set of points or edge points of 30-2 are eliminated. 22 points are eliminated. Only the 2 nasal points are kept, and these 22 points are eliminated. So 76 minus 22 is come to 54 points, and the remaining the no points on horizontal and vertical axis, and distance between point to point is 6 degrees. Distance between axis and the point is 3 degrees, and the 3-degree bare area. If you see, this is the 30-2 and 24-2. Always see the central 10-degree circle area, which contains 16 points in the 10-degree circle area. Because the 10-degree circle area, we got 16 points, 3-degree circle points and 9-degree circle points. And we always talk about the bare area of the 3 degrees, but there is a huge bare area within the 10-degree circle area of 24-2 or 30-2 point patterns, huge bare area. And if any glaucoma is starting here, they are likely to be missed or may not be appreciated in 24-2. And another most important thing is we are not testing up to fixation in 24-2 and 30-2. And the printout appears as if we are giving almost testing up to fixation, but we are not testing up to fixation. So never comment the foveal status from 24-2 or 30-2. Because there is a huge bare area, the new point pattern came into existence. They added 10 more points within the bare area of within the 10-degree circle area, and this is known as 24-2C. And please note that still there are no points within the 3-degree circle area. So it is not the replacement for 10-2. And only it gives an indication to repeat the 10-2 point pattern, the test to repeat the 10-2 point pattern. And because it had the SETA-FAST strategy, which saves 30% of the time when compared to SETA-FAST, one can straight away do whenever we are thinking of the glaucoma is starting within 10 degrees, we can straight away go for 24-2C SETA-FAST and then we can repeat with 10-2. This is the 10-2 point pattern. And see, because it is dash 2, no points on either horizontal or vertical axis. And there are 68 points distributed in the 10-degree circle area of the 10-2 point pattern. And the distance between point to point is 2 degrees, and the distance between point and the axis 1 degree. There is only 1 degree variance. So we are almost testing up to station in 10-2 point pattern. The Mackler program is nothing but the 3-degree circle area points. There are 16 points. The 5-degree circle area points, 7-degree circle area points, and 9-degree circle area points are all eliminated. And the points within the 3-degree circle, this is the Mackler program, which is nothing but the subset of 10-2. So whenever you suspect glaucoma, normally we ask for 24-2, and we see the indication to repeat the test with 10-2, and we will ask for 10-2. And if you see in the 10-2 point pattern, the points that are present in 24-2, all the 12 points are not included. And these the points on 3-degree circle area are tested both in 24-2 point pattern and 10-2 point pattern. Take for example, if you straight away do sometimes the 10-2 point pattern, because these points are not there, there is again a huge bare area, and we may likely to miss glaucoma, which may start here. So we have to do 10-2, 24, we have to do 30-2 or 24-2 and see the indication for 10-2 and repeat the test. And these points on 3-degree circle area are tested both in 24-2 and 10-2. Now that is about the point patterns. Now we come to the mission. For every field analyzer, we should know about the mission also. Normally, it not only measures the retinal sensitivity, it analyzes the measured retinal sensitivity with the normative data that is stored in it. For each age group, for each strategy, for each point pattern, normative data is stored. And it analyzes the measured retinal sensitivity, analyzes with the raw data, and tells and gives the single field analysis printing. And it has an options. We can change parameters. We can change the point patterns. We can change the strategy. We can change the fixation target. We can change the size of the stimulus. Before asking the field test, we should have a standard pro forma. Patient data, the name of the patient should be written accurately. Age of the patient should be written accurately, because the data analysis is dependent upon normative data of the age group. And refractive error correction should be properly entered. Visual acuity and the size of the people should be properly entered in the pro forma. And we feed this the data to the field analyzer. And coming to the test data, what test we want? And it all depends upon the indication for the field test for which we are doing. Depending on that, the point patterns, testing strategy, the fixation target, and size of the stimulus, they vary. Take, for example, for indication of the fields, glaucoma in a suspected stage, established stage, advanced stage. Whenever a suspected and established stage, we always go for 24-2 and 30-2. In advanced stage, we have to repeat the test with the 10-2. And the drug toxicity is there. We have to go for 10-2. Macular programs disorders, we have to go for 10-2 or macular program test. So according to the indication, we have to change the point patterns. And according to the indication, fixation target. Take for advanced glaucoma, the patient cannot we want to know the status of the fovea split, and the patient is not able to see the fixation target, central fixation target. Then we have to go for a small diamond or a big diamond. And macular disorders, we have to go for small diamond or a big diamond. Or sometimes the patient is having high fixation losses, we have to change the fixation target to either small diamond or a big diamond. And most important thing is the blind spot is located according to relation to the fixation target. If you write central fixation, the patient must see the central fixation during the entire test. If you write the fixation target as a small diamond, the patient must see within the center of the small diamond throughout the test, because the blind spot is located by the machine according to the center spot that is fixed for that. Coming to the change parameter size of the test. Normally, the test will be conducted with size 3. And because in advanced cases of to know the macular speed, sometimes we do macular program with size 5. Please note that the size 5 is 16 times larger than size 3. And it is mainly used for testing glaucomas in end stage. And we sometimes use the size 5 for macular disorders. Routinely for CNS lesions, optic nerve lesions, we go for 24-2 or 30-2 with a central fixation. Normally, every test we conduct for glaucoma, always the foveal sensitivity should be measured. First, you keep the fovea on. When we keep the fovea on, in the beginning of the test, the light falls within the small diamond. In a few seconds, the foveal sensitivity is measured. And once the foveal sensitivity is measured, it will be off, and the light will on. The central fixation light will be on, and the patient should shift his fixation from small diamond to central fixation. So educate the now that is all about the regard to the machine. Now educate the patient how he should do. Always say that every ophthalmologist must undergo the field test once. Then only he will be knowing the difficulties of the test, and he will become a better teacher to train the staff and to educate the patient how to perform the test. Not only educating how the patient should do the test, it should make him comfortable, sit comfortably. The position of the forehead should be proper. The position of the chin should be proper. And the position and there should not be any head tilt during entire test. You should see the position of the head during entire test, and taking all the precautions and educate the patient well. And the test will be on with the foveal sensitivity. And once the foveal sensitivity is measured, give a pause and always correlate the foveal sensitivity with visual acuity. Suppose if the foveal sensitivity and visual acuity, they correlate with each other, that means the patient understood the test well, and the refractor correction that is given for here is also proper. Take for example, the visual acuity is 6.6 and the foveal sensitivity measured is 29. That means they are not correlating with each other. Something is going wrong. We have to find out whether the patient has understood the test or not, or the refractive correction is given proper or not. Once the fovea is the foveal sensitivities and visual acuity, they correlate to each other, you ask the patient to shift his fixation target from small diamond to fixation, central fixation, and he will continue to do the test. And the test once finished, this is the measured retinal sensitivity or the raw data, the exact retinal sensitivity of the patient. Now this raw data is compared with the normative data that is stored, and it gives the single field analysis printout. Take for example, if the normative data is not there, take for example for custom tests, or the test with any test being done with size 5, or any test done with macular program, the normative data is not available. If the normative data is not available, you will get 3-in-1 printout. This is the single field analysis printout of the patient. Now we should understand each component of the single field analysis printout. For better understanding, the single field analysis printout is divided into 11 zones. Zone 1 is patient data, test data. Zone 2 is reliability data. Zone 3 is our data. Zone 4 is grayscale. Total deviation numerical plot and total deviation probability plot, zone 5 and 6. Pattern deviation numerical plot and pattern deviation probability plot 7 and 8. And global indices, which includes mean deviation, pattern standard deviation, and visual field index, zone 9. And glaucoma hemic field test is zone 10. And gaze tracking is zone 11. Now we will talk in detail about each zone. So zone 1 is nothing but what we fed to the computer. Verify the patient data is properly entered or not, especially the age of the patient and pupil size and the visual acuity and age of the patient. Then test data. What test you ask? You ask it for 24-2 or 30-2 or 10-2, whether it is properly taken or not, what strategy you selected, what fixation target you fix. Everything what you have written in the pro forma, that will be fed in and verified, and whether it is properly fed to the field analyzer or not. Coming to the reliability data. Reliability data includes the fixation losses, false positives, false negatives. So the fixation, we can divide the reliability into two groups. How the patient is fixing, that is the fixation losses, and how he is responding. Does he respond to overactive or inactive? Overactive is false positive, inactive false negative. Out of these three, the most important reliability indices is false positive error. That means the patient is overactive. The tested area is retested with a dimmer light for which the patient should not respond. He responds. Or the machine creates an atmosphere as if the stimulus is being projected. Actually, there is no projection of any stimulus. He responds. And the false positives, if they come more than 15%, that is a compromised test, and we have to repeat the test and again. That is 15% of false positives. It's a compromised. Coming to the false negatives, that means inactive patient in not responding. The tested area is retested with a brighter area stimulus for which the patient should respond, and the patient is not responding. Inactive patient, and sometimes even they can be accepted up to 20%. Even in glaucoma, advanced glaucomas, we may find a higher rate of false negative errors. Coming to fixation loss, that means how he is fixing during the entire test. There are two methods, the blind spot method and the gaze tracking. The gaze tracking is the patent of Humphrey. In this blind spot method means whenever you fix the central fixation or small diamond or a big diamond, the machine locates the blind spot. During the test, the light falls on the blind spot and the patient should not respond. If he is responding, means he is moving the eye. Gaze tracking, and because the most disadvantage of the blind spot is head tilt will be affected with fixation losses, and there is no continuous gaze to know whether he is fixing properly or not. And it is in gaze tracking, we have two variable gaze tracking, the center of the pupil and the corneal reflex. They correspond when they gaze properly. They correspond to each other. When eye moves, they deviate from each other. So when the eye moves, the upward reflection is shown in upward reflection. When the lower deflection is indicative that it is usually absence of, due to blink, absence of corneal reflex and absence of the pupil image because of the blink. It indicates the blink. The upward reflection shows the movement, and the straight one is the perfect gaze. It is unaffected by the head tilt. That is the one most important thing. And it is a continuous monitoring will be there. Whenever the patient is moving, we can give a pause and we can give rest to the patient, and then you can continue. It is another advantage of tracking. With this, now we enter into the zone 3. Zone 3 is the measure raw data, the exact measured retinal sensitivity. As you know, the retinal sensitivity is high at the fovea, and as it goes to the periphery, it decreases. Higher the dB value, higher the numerical value, higher the retinal sensitivity. Usually, we have the highest at the fovea around 40, and as it goes to the periphery, it goes up to 27, 28, 29 may be normal, but in the central, it will be high. And a 0 in raw data, if you see a 0, that means it requires a stimulus of 10,000 ASV units, the maximum light. Even to the maximum light is not responding. An inferior sign appears in front of 0. So inferior sign in front of 0 is absolute glaucoma. Take for example, in a raw data, if you see any inferior sign in front of any numerical value other than 0, indicates that the bulb is becoming dim. That means the bulb is not projecting the maximum light intensity. That is 10,000 units in ampere. Sometimes you see an inferior sign in front of 1, in front of 2. That means it is the time to replace the bulb. And always concentrate on the 16 points of 10 degrees circle area of 24-30-2 to see what is the radius. Take for example, here we are seeing an absolute scotoma in the 3-degree point, and we have to repeat the test with 10-2. So always concentrate on the 16 points within the 10 degree circle area of 30-2 or 24-2, whether we have to repeat the test with the 10-2 point pattern or not. This is the thickness map of OCT that corresponds to the raw data. Now, this raw data now is converted into shade format, which is called as grayscale. Grayscale is nothing but the shade format of raw data. The better retinal sensitivity is given better shades, and as the retinal sensitivity is decreasing, and the worse retinal sensitivity is given the darker shade. The darkest is absolute scotoma. The brightest is excellent scotoma, the retinal sensitivity. And the grayscale has many advantages. The grayscale is one of the most, we can appreciate many things. In papilledema, appreciation of the enlargement of the blind spot is better appreciated in the grayscale than any other component in the single field analysis printout. The multicentric origin of glaucoma is better appreciated in grayscale than the probability plots. If you see the probability plot, it is appearing as if it is a single scotoma. But here you see the scotoma started here, the scotoma started here, multicentric origin of glaucoma. Even in progression analysis, the vertical progression is better appreciated in the grayscale than in the probability plots, which I will explain while I deal with the progression analysis. One most important thing one should know is the 24- or 30-2, the central 10 degree circle area will have the brighter zone shade than the periphery, because here the intensity of light is the threshold is very high, so we get a brighter shade when compared to the peripheral shade. Take for example here, if you see the brighter shade disappeared, and if you miss to appreciate the loss of brightness in the central area, you may think that this grayscale is normal, and you see these probability plots are showing the defect superficial scotomas. So a superficial scotoma within the 10 degree circle area of 24- or 30-2 may not be appreciated well if you cannot, because the shade won't, the dark shade won't come when it is a superficial scotoma. So appearance, the appreciation of the loss of brightness within 10 degree circle area is very, very important. You see here also when comparing, this is a 10 degree field, 10-2 point pattern. And you see this area, the brightness is lost, and it is appreciated, superficial scotomas appreciated the probability plot. Even if you can appreciate because it is brighter than this zone. So that is very important. One should appreciate the loss of brightness in the central 10 degree circle area in the grayscale of 24-30-2. And for appreciation of the blind spots, suppose take from which eye it belongs. This is the temporal, the left eye, this is the right eye. We use blind spot to tell which eye is important. And another most important thing is absence of blind spot in 10 degree point pattern test. Then to decide which eye, we have to see which eye it belongs, the left eye. So if the blind spot is there, we can straight away can tell which eye it belongs. If the blind spot is there, not there, we have to see which eye which is written as OS or OD. That is the only way of knowing the field belongs to which eye. If you take, for example, most important thing is if the fixation losses are 100% and gaze tracking is excellent, that means something is going wrong. There may be head tilt during the test, and the fixation losses will be 100%, and the gaze tracking will be good. And sometimes the blind spot may be displaced downwards. When the patient, after finishing the foveal sensitivity, testing, he won't shift his fixation to central fixation. He remains fixing at a small diamond, and the blind spot will be located downwards. Here, there will be 100% fixation